What is up guys, welcome to this video. Today I will be testing the GTX 1650 on a few different games, and I will be trying to understand if this graphics card is good enough to play games in 2023. So, starting off, here are my PC specs. I am currently running a GTX 1650 on a laptop. So this is only a 50 watts version of the GTX 1650. If you get a desktop 1650, then you're gonna get a much better experience because the desktop version runs up to 70 watts. I'm starting this test with a new Spider-Man game that just came out. This will actually show us a lot about what this card is capable of in 2023, because this is a new game and it's really demanding. So let's get to it. First of all, I am going to try to run this on the lowest possible settings so I can see what I can get with this. I'll try to reach the highest FPS possible. I'm on low texture quality and I'm already using more than 3.5 gigs of VRAM. The GTX 1650 has 4 gigs of VRAM, so I think I'm good to go on medium. Texture filtering, I'll try to do 2x. Shadow quality very low. Off, everything set to the lowest. I will leave this on. Motion blur, of course, off, because who likes motion blur, let's be honest. Okay, so I'm running this on exclusive full screen 1080p, 64 Hz refresh rate. Let's drop that to 60. VSync off. Let's turn the NVIDIA reflex off. Upscale off. I will be trying to run this on 1080p native. Anti-aliasing TAA. I can't even put this on off, but I will keep on TAA because it makes the game feel nicer. Okay.
Yeah, where you at?
So
You
almost everything
okay?
low,
Yeah,
and this is a pretty good start because, as you can see, on the lowest settings
Oh, perfect.
I can
Dip over to
reach
the
more
amphitheater.
than
Got something
60.
to show you. Dude, I'm there.
So to answer your questions, can you play the new Spider-Man game at 60 FPS? Yes, you can. You can lock it to 60 and it's gonna be a good experience. Also, I've been testing this game a lot recently and I have found out that the IGTI on quality or even ultra quality runs really good. It gains a lot of FPS and the quality is almost the same. So I'm running this on quality mode right now and I went from 60 FPS up to the 80s and 90s. So you can see now that I am getting much better FPS. Also, you have to bear in mind that while testing this game I'm also recording on the GTX 1650, so if I was not recording I would be getting like 3 to 5% more FPS. Okay, so jumping on a much more recent game, this game is going to show us a lot in terms of what this hardware can do in 2023 and beyond that. This is a really new game. It's really demanding, also extremely unoptimized, I might add. Okay, so now we are inside the game. Let's just see the graphics. I've set everything to the lowest. As you can see right here, everything is set to the lowest. Motion blur disabled, NVIDIA reflex disabled. Resolution scale is on 100%, so we're running native 1080p.
We have to find a good hiding place. I'll stand by your side, my king.
Okay, so at native 1080p low settings,
Don't forget to breathe, my king.
we are getting 30 to 35 FPS. 30 FPS is not much, but it's a console-like experience. Most people play games at 30 FPS without a problem. This is not an FPS game or a shooter that you need high FPS to enjoy it. This is not a competitive game. This is a story-driven game, so the story is the most important thing,
Oh, yes.
and the visuals also. So running lower FPS is not going to be much of a deal breaker for
You're
this
too
title.
careful. Come on, don't.
Let's just try 90%. Okay, 90% will give me 40 FPS or the higher 30s. So what I suggest for this game is set this to 85 or even 90%, or if you have a desktop GTX 1650, run this at native and just play it at 30 FPS or 40 FPS. Just lock it at 30 or lock it at 40. Okay, so this game is totally playable. Let's jump to the next game. Okay guys, so another game that I wanted to test out, a gorgeous game, is God of War 2018. A PC port that came on January 2022. I've played this game from beginning to end on this computer without any problems. Let's see the graphics. Okay, so my graphics are set to the lowest possible except the textures. I keep the textures on regional. Let's see on display. At the moment I'm running AMD FSR 2.0 on quality, FSR sharpening on 0.9, because I feel that this is the best. Let's just turn VSync off and triple buffering off. Okay, so I am running 70-80 FPS on this area right now. No, Atreus, please, I am testing out the game. Okay, so I'm running on 70 FPS, more than 70 FPS. On the low settings, except the textures, and running AMD FSR 2.0. Okay, what about native 1080p? Can you not run this game at native 1080p on 60? And the answer is yes, you can. I played this game on this computer from beginning to end on 60 FPS 1080p native. It looks stunning. It's a really good game. It has a great story, but we are not here for the story nor for the game. We're here for the performance. And as you can see, this game can play at 60 FPS. That was it about this game. Let's jump to the other one. Okay, you guys, so the next game that we have is Uncharted 4. So let's go to the settings and let's see. So let's run at native resolution. Let's try that first of all. VSync off, performance counters, I don't need them because I'm using MSI Afterburner. Okay, let's apply those changes. Let's go to the advanced graphics. So I have put everything to the lowest because it doesn't really matter. Let's see what kind of FPS we get. Okay, so low settings, native 1080p. We are looking at 40 FPS, 40ish, something about. Okay, something like that. High 40s, mid 40s, not lower than that. Which already is a good start because that shows that even in low settings this game can run at much more higher than 30 FPS. Okay, so let's try something else. Okay, let's go to advanced graphics. Let's go to the Let's go to the medium preset. Let's see how that does. Okay, so the medium preset runs on the low 40s. So lower 40s, which is pretty good. That means that you can run this game on medium settings at 30 FPS without any problems. So you can have like a good console experience. 30 FPS, medium settings, really good and playable game. But we are PC gamers, and PC gamers do not want 30, they want 60. So let's go and try to get 60. Let's go to display. Let's go AMD FSR 2, FSR sharpness. Let's put it up to 70. Apply those changes. So that means that we are currently upscaling from 720 up to 1080. AMD FSR is incredible. The game looks almost identical to native 1080p, and we're running at 60 FPS. So, long story short,
There's Vargas.
can you run 60 FPS? Yes,
I want in.
you can play. You can play this game at 60 FPS without a problem. Just turn on low settings, AMD FSR 2.0, and you can run this game pretty much without any problems. Visually, it looks almost identical to the medium settings. At least I cannot tell any difference, especially if you are playing on a small laptop screen. If you are playing on a desktop, you have the advantage of having the 70 watts available to you. I'm running this currently at 47 watts, 50 watts. That's the limit of this card. It cannot go higher than 50 watts, which means that if you're playing this on a desktop, you're going to have much higher clock speeds, much higher power consumption, and much higher performance overall. So you can play this on medium settings at probably 60 FPS on the desktop 1650. 1080p 60 on low settings. Yes, you can play. Let's jump to the next game. Another game that I wanted to include is Hitman 3. Even though it's not really that demanding, it's still a beautiful game. It looks really good. It is really fun to play. And it really goes to show that you don't need extremely demanding games to have fun. You can even have fun on less demanding games like this one. I'm running at medium settings and I am doing pretty well. This game is running well above 60 FPS, so
Hey there.
keeping a steady 60 is no problem.
Yeah.
And to end things off, guys, we got CyberPunk 2077, which is one of the most demanding games to ever exist. So I am running on everything to the lowest possible except this. Okay, here are the settings. Ray tracing off because obviously it's a GTX card. I'm running FSR 2.1 on quality because it really looks good on quality. Okay guys, as you can see, I am running at 60 FPS without any problems. The game looks good even though FSR is turned on. I really cannot tell the difference between FSR being turned on to quality and native 1080p. So let's just stop here for a moment. Okay, let's just go back. I want you guys to take a look at this particular area. I'm running at 65 FPS at this place. Let's just go to the settings, graphics, and let's turn FSR off. So we are running at native 1080p. Native 1080p, and I cannot tell a difference. Visually, it looks the same to me. I'm just running at what, 50 FPS? 49, 50. I'm running at 50 FPS. So just by turning this on to quality, apply. What? I'm running now to around 57, 58. So I gained FPS. So I am running this on quality now. So I'm just changing this to quality. So I'm just changing this from off to quality. So I'm changing this from off to on quality. Let's hit apply. And I'm getting more FPS, 58 FPS, 56, 55. So I'm getting more FPS, and the quality is almost the same. I can't tell that this is not 1080p native. Is FSR even on? So as you guys can see, I'm running this at 60 FPS without any problems. So can you play CyberPunk 2077 on the GTX 1650? Yeah, of course. 60 FPS, no problems. But for those of you who want higher settings and don't mind playing at 30 FPS, let's go and try medium settings. Okay, with AMD FSR turned to quality. Let's hit apply. Now let's see how many FPS we're gonna get. Okay, so medium settings, FSR turned on. We're getting 40-ish, yeah, about 40 FPS. So you can definitely just lock this at 30 and play like this. But I think that we can go higher. I think that we definitely can go higher. Okay, depth of field, let's turn this on. You know what, let's just go to the high preset. That's pretty good. This is the high preset. Let's hit apply and let's see. So this is the high preset, and we are running still at over 40 FPS, and the game still looks just perfectly fine. Man, I gotta say, FSR 2.1 it's a real lifesaver for this game. It gives you extra FPS, and the visuals still stay great. Okay, so you can still play on high settings at 30 FPS locked, even 40 FPS locked if you care to do so. Okay, let's go this on maximum FPS and lock this to 40 FPS. Hit apply. High settings, 40 FPS, playable and looks good. Okay, so now it's the conclusion time. Is the GTX 1650 a good graphics card for 2023 gaming? Yes and no. So if you have a 1650, I would recommend to keep it, because the 4050 and 4060 are most likely going to come out at the end of 2023 or at the beginning of 2024. So don't rush out to buy a 3050 or a 3060. If you have a 1650, keep it. It's a good graphics card. It can play every game out there at high settings or low settings when it's needed. But you're never going to be left out. You're never going to say, oh, I can't play this game because my PC can't handle it. No, with the 1650 you can handle everything. You're just gonna have to lower some settings, but if you're interested in buying a 1650 graphics card for your PC, for your desktop, then don't buy it, because there are much better deals out there. You can get an AMD 580 for the same price as a 1650, and you're going to get much more performance out of that thing. So in conclusion, can the 1650 play games in 2023? Yes, it will be playing all of them. You will just need to lower the settings. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you really enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.